That's right, we're going to look at 6 lessons St Vincent taught me about music production. Let's get into it. My name's Dave, you are tuned into Whisky and Synths. This is the channel that blends whiskey drinking with music making. And I'm so excited to do an episode today about St Vincent, one of my favourite artists in the whole world. She's won multiple Grammys, worked with people like David Byrne, Lipa, and many, many, many more. And every kind of album, she kind of reinvents herself and does something different. And she's produced her latest album all herself as well. And all her previous ones had a huge hand in the production of it as well. She's just one of these all-round figures, almost a bit like Prince or David Bowie or someone who can do a bit of everything. So I can't wait to get into the episode today. How are we going to do it? It's going to be over a kind of video podcast style, and I'll just mainly be chatting about it. This is kind of for intermediate to advanced music producers who can just enjoy a video like that, take those tips away and use them in their own productions. Hope you like that style of video. Hope you love St Vincent. Let's get into it. So a big tip on this one, she said, was getting a mission or edict for the album. So this is your kind of mission statement for the album. And her one was to move air around the room, move electric around, tactile, touch, play, moving electricity around, touch, currents, oscillators, constantly jamming sounds. So for her, she really wanted to use all the modular equipment, studio hardware, and really almost feel the sound and control it like that. And that informed her process for the rest of the album. So it's quite cool. If you're going to start out with an EP or album, maybe you should have a think about, well, how exactly do I want to make this? What instruments do I want to use? What techniques do I want to use? What am I not going to do? And what am I going to do? And it helps narrow down your options, get rid of paralysis by analysis. And in that way, it can kind of give you a bit more drive and kind of focus with your EP or album making. And I quite like this. I can't remember who it was, but one member of LCD Sound System, I think it was a bassist, was going to do a solo album. And James, the lead singer and main producer, he was like, take one drum machine, one synth, and a microphone, and that's it. So a similar way, you kind of decide at the start of your project the way you're going to make it. Might not work for everyone, but I think if you're really wanting to do a collection of songs, this could be really useful. Okay, what is number 2 from St Vincent? Well, this one was trying and trying until you get something right. So she said there was one she had to try over 100 times before she got a song right in the album. She said the chorus on Hell Is Near was originally written on a 12-string guitar. And she said sometimes it's like you try and ask a song, will you do it this way? And it's like, no. Her kind of quote was, "You can't touch me unless you come at me correct," says the song. So that's quite an interesting way. So she kind of always not giving up on a song. If you feel like there's something there, you just have to approach it from different angles, tempos, instrumentation, different rhythm tracks, maybe no rhythm track, and try and search for a lot of things. That's if you believe it's an idea worth pursuing, because some ideas you might be like, oh, that's okay, I do like that one, but some of them you'll know deep down if it's got something to it. So don't be afraid to open it up in a different Ableton project and a different one and keep trying different versions of it. If you play instruments, don't be afraid to try it on your bass guitar, on keyboard, or whatever. You could get some cool results, or maybe try some random instruments, like novelty instruments, like on a track me and my brother done. He even added some ocarina to it, because we're big Zelda fans, so that was quite fun. So yeah, definitely try and come at songs different ways, ones you know you want to produce. All right. So for point number 3, this one goes back to our previous point about progressing with something that you feel has quality to it or something to it. And St Vincent's quoted as saying, sound has meaning. And that is really important, not just with lyrics or words, but each sound individually can have a meaning to it, and that is worth pursuing. For example, she said they wanted on Strangest Fruit a kind of naval sound, like a foghorn, so they used bass trombone and sax for that crazy naval sound in the background. But St. Vincent was saying it's a process of finding rather than scheming. It's always an exploration. So rather than seeing yourself like an engineer sitting down, making a plan and then following the plan, see yourself almost like a bit of an explorer into the unknown. being kind of receptive to different things that pop up, happy accidents and everything like that. So that's where you can do that in your DAW with a controller, or sometimes with hardware controls like a synth or a drum machine. These happy accidents happen more as well. Or even if you're playing your guitar or bass, definitely follow that kind of feeling and explore different sounds, playing things ways that they wouldn't normally be done. And as soon as you feel something, that, I mean, the meaning is coming through, even if you don't understand it straight away. So before we get into the last 3 points from St Vincent, lessons we can learn for, I just want to say you might be a producer with loads of songs you really want to get finished, and I want to help with that. I've got my Finish That Damn Track guide for you guys. It's like a challenge, and in 10 sessions, 10 days, you'll have a finished self-mastered track. And if that sounds impossible, it's not. You know, I've broken it down with objectives, action points, checklists, and you can only do it in 30 minutes a day, so you don't have to spend more time on your production than you do already. I just help you use that time better. So if that sounds interesting to you and you want to get your tracks finished, I've got a free guide below, and they'll send it out to you. It's like a challenge. You'll get an email every day, and just, I want to help you release your music and get it out there. And everyone that goes through that challenge will be considered for our Tonic Note Records. That's my label that I run with my brother, considered for our compilation albums as well. So you could even get it released as well. And we release loads of producers who've been through that challenge. So if that sounds good to you, click below and then jump back into the episode for our next free St Vincent tips. So St Vincent was quoted as saying on this album that she really had jumping off points, she always called them. Like, for example, she'd play around on the modular synths for ages. And by the way, if you're interested in that but don't have the budget, there is some free modular VSTs you can use in your DAW if you want to kind of approximate that kind of thing. But she said using those loops were a jumping off point and trusting what loop was a good point to build a song around. So she get a kind of a loop she felt something connected to, kind of relating back to our previous 2 points is how you know that. And then there is no set recipe for building the song apart from starting with that modular and moving the electricity around, like we said in point 1, having a mission for the album. And everything started with chaos and everything was built around that. And she said, if you feel it sounds good, don't second guess yourself, which is really important as well. Trust that intuition. Now, when it comes to trust your intuition, St Vincent was also saying that make big sonic decisions, then build upon them. For example, if you've got a loop from a bit of hardware, record it in as audio, not just MIDI. Commit to that sound. And she said that printing or committing modular sounds through hardware and then putting it for a speaker in the room, miking it up, getting the room sound on the modular, and then that's your sound. She'd commit to that all via the recording process with audio rather than MIDI. And that's also a cool production trick as well. You know, quite often we run synths just straight into like audio interface like there, but run synths through amps. Especially bass amps can be good for this. Be careful if you're going to do it for a guitar amp. You don't want to blow it because synths can get really bassy. So that's what I'm saying. If you've got access to a bass amp, mic it up, and then you can really bring a synth sound to life with the room. So that's a cool little bonus production trick there as well. But committing to the sound is the main point here. If you've got a cool part with your, say, even a guitar for your pedal board, record it like that. Don't think, oh, I'll tweak all the effects later on. It's worth doing that up front because it sounds good for a reason, and trust yourself and don't let digital technology put you through that minefield of 1,000 million options and then you never end up finishing the record. Commit at every stage, and you're building upon good decisions as you go. All right, now for our last point in this St. Vincent lessons that St. Vincent Annie Clark's taught me. She said, jump scares in songs. And I love this because we all know a jump scare, like in a movie, you know, in a horror movie, suddenly the attacker just comes out of a closet like, oh, when you're least expecting it. But we all love them. So, for example, there's crazy screams and other violent sounds buried in the mix of Broken Man. And if you know St Vincent, you'll know exactly what it's on about. It's all kind of quiet, and suddenly this guitar sound comes in like, whoa, beast. So jump scares in your music. I'm going to finish on that point because it is just such a class one. So hopefully you've enjoyed this kind of video style podcast of 6 lessons Annie Clark, aka St Vincent's, taught me. I've put all the links in the description below for the sources of where I got all these ideas and lessons from. So hopefully that will help you guys out as well. Also, like I said, I want to help you out with my Finish That Damn Track challenge. So it's like, it comes to you via email. You get PDFs, you get bonus videos, you get everything like that. There's even a chance to chat to me one-to-one about halfway through and get feedback on how you're doing. 10 sessions, 10 days, 1 self-mastered track ready to release, and we will consider it for release on Tonic Note Records. If that sounds good to you, oh man, I'm just put on this planet to help people like you make your music, get fulfillment out of it, enjoy it. It's okay to have thousands of unfinished Ableton projects, but you want your best ones to get out there, right? And I'm here to help with that. So, give me a shout, click below, leave me a comment. I read them all. My email's in my bio. So you can even email me. I read all them and reply to them as well. I'm here to help. Hope you enjoyed this video. And I've got loads more you can check out. Or maybe it's actually a good time to jump into Ableton and start making music now. Have fun with it. Cheers, Slangevan music producers. I'll catch you later. Whiskey.